Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode of Total War Through the Ages. Well, today's episode is going to be very exciting for two reasons. One, because this is brand new footage that I recorded just shortly before presenting this episode. And secondly, it's because this is a very large battle that will be very influential in the coming campaign. The previous episode did mention something about a major offensive. And I can promise that after today's episode, then this battle, the major offensive will begin. So unfortunately this episode, don't quite get major offensive yet. That will have to wait till next episode. But on to the matter at hand, this battle. Now the Carthaginians have no elephants, which I'm thrilled about. However, they do have a decent amount of cavalry. Certainly they have more cavalry than I do. So I was a little bit concerned about that because I don't actually have any auxiliaries. No, I have one unit of auxiliary right here, but I have no triarii and only the one unit of auxiliary. So I was a little bit concerned that I might not have enough to deal with the cavalry, but well, I kind of planned around that. So my deployment, the basic idea of my deployment is I'm going to start using my general a lot more because it's a very powerful unit, as many people have told me in the comments before, repeatedly. And besides that, I'm also, the idea of my deployment is that I'm going to have the princeps up front to basically be the ones to take the charges, and then my legionaries, or early legionaries, as I have some of those. I actually think all of my units here are early legionaries. So all my early legionaries will kind of be the back, the next rank back that's going to be in between the gaps in the front line. That will be our counter charge units. And then I'm going to use the Hastati, and I'm trying to remember if I use all the Hastati, but I'm using the Mercenary Light Infantry, who I mistook them for hoplites. I actually thought they were hoplites. They are not. They are actually light infantry, so they're basically kind of like Iberian. I think they're Iberian light infantry. So they're kind of like Hastati, more or less. But that's okay. Like once I realized my mistake in this battle, so I'm gonna basically place them up front to kind of be as a skirmisher unit, more or less. So we're gonna use them as cannon fodder. So, and then we will also have the Hastati up there as well. So the idea is that the Hastati will help essentially just kind of act as skirmish units. And I ended up putting the Hastati off to the sides because I was hoping that I could kind of draw the enemy into my center, and then the Hastati could kind of act to throw their javelins at the flanks. Now, first up, now they were attacking me, so I initially thought about, okay, well, I'll just sit back. And then I realized, you know what? No, it's generally a better idea to kind of meet the enemies on your own terms. So I decided to just kind of, you know what? We're going to just go ahead and start moving and kind of move up a little bit to face them. It's kind of, I'm starting to learn that particularly in Rome Total War, it's a lot better to be mobile. Like, you don't want to just be stationary and let the enemy attack you. You want to always be moving, advancing on the enemy so that you can hopefully dictate the flow of the battle. So I pretty much just have you saw there, I had my whole formation selected. I just moved it, and then I adjusted the guys on the flanks a bit. I do withdraw them back slightly because I figured, well, since the enemy kind of, I'm not exactly dead center on, kind of pulled back a bit. Now they have quite a bit of cavalry amassed on both flanks. I think they have more on their right flank. So what I'm going to do here is I'm using my general unit to take down those guys. I quickly switch over here because I noticed that they have more more cavalry. So I'm going to try and pull my Roman cavalry back to allow, because I don't want them to get caught up by the enemy cavalry. And at this point, they haven't quite engaged, so all I'm waiting for, I actually pull my auxiliary unit back because I figured I want my auxiliary unit to be the versatile one, because I want them to be able to go where the enemy cavalry is. However, that doesn't really end up working out. So I get my cavalry to charge in there, support the infantry that took that charge. I believe it was the Hastati on the far right there, and the Hastati obviously routes because they got charged by a lot of cavalry. But our princeps are going to be able to back to hold them, and then our mercenaries gets charged. I pull up the princeps, and at this point I'm just going to full on engage. Now, fortunately, on the left side, they're a lot weaker on the left side, so I was able to kind of swing around, and they kind of shifted over to my right a bit more, so I'm going to kind of be able to start wrapping around them. And now my center is a little bit weak, but I'm able to kind of pull it back. Thankfully, I didn't quite rout, but I definitely I kind of beat back their initial cavalry charge on the right. Now I almost had a terrible mistake there. I almost I wasn't quite paying attention, and my general got charged, but luckily I was able to pull him out, and I'm going to try and get him back over to the main force so he's not all alone. Now, my one unit actually did rally back there, so I'm bringing them back up. That's another thing that I'm starting to get better at, is paying attention to if units that have routed are actually if they rally, before, if they're not shattered, if it's just broken. So I did get my general kind of out there, but he does kind of get charged again. So my left actually ends up faltering. So initially my left was really strong initially, but then I kind of focused on my right because that's where I was having more problems. And well, pretty much just the center and the right envelop the entire enemy force. But then my left kind of falls apart a little bit because I wasn't quite paying enough attention there. And I also think it's partly because my general unit, I'm retreating with him, while on the right side I had my Roman cavalry unit that was able to do a lot of flank charges. And at some point in this battle, I don't quite remember where it is, but there was actually one point where it kind of like jittered for a split second, and I was so terrified that the game was going to crash. I thought that the game was crashing, but thankfully it was just a little bit of a chug, so that's not too bad. And yeah, but it scared me a little bit because I was like, it was kind of towards the end of the battle. Actually, that might have been there just a minute ago, but yeah, this battle was pretty straightforward. At the end here, it's pretty much just a mopping up operation. And I didn't actually realize this, but the AI actually was attempting to withdraw some of their units in the back there, because I saw some of those units back there. You can see off in the distance, they're not withdrawn. I mean, not withdrawing. They are trying to withdraw. They're not actually broken. They're not, routing. So I thought that they were going to rally back up and then come back and fight me, but I actually didn't count on the AI being smart enough to actually withdraw their forces after they've already lost the battle and just trying to get some guys out to survive. And if I'd actually known that, I would have sent my cavalry over there a lot sooner to try and run those guys down. But unfortunately, I didn't quite notice that in time to get my cavalry over there. And I was still dealing with the enemy's general, but my infantry definitely would have been able to deal with their general unit. That's their only other unit left, since the rest of any other units they have alive are withdrawing. So overall, this was a pretty big victory for me, and it's really thanks largely in part, or very largely in, to all the people who have been posting suggestions in the comments. So thank you all. It has been very, very useful for all of you guys. I mean, I thank all of you guys so much, because it's been very useful and it's really helped. And in the episodes to come, I hope to prove that I have improved. It's an interesting sentence, but I really do hope that I will be able to prove that I have improved a lot. Again, that just sounds, I don't know, those two, prove and improve, going right after each other. I don't know. Anyway, what I'm trying to get out here is that I'm hoping to show that I've actually improved a lot, because I definitely feel like I have, and I think my results in episodes to come will hopefully show that. But that was the victory for that. Now it's all actually back onto our turn, and our faction leader died, which isn't great. Also kind of made the happiness of the capital drop there, but thankfully it's not too big of a deal. Now I'm just kind of contemplating which building I will end up constructing here to kind of boost the happiness. I think I end up going with the arena, but I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I end up going with the arena. And now that's pretty much it for this episode. We will go ahead and we will be besieging this location. I did consider getting the mercenary elephants, but they're just so expensive, and I had plans to use my money this turn for some other things, which of course we'll go over in the next episode. But for the time being, that is all I have for today. So thank you all for watching. Be sure to check back for more Total War Through the Ages, as well as some other random videos here and there, and some upcoming series that are in the works. But, as I said, thank you all for watching. Until next time.